Yes. Yeah, that is for sure.
Time being 8:04 a.m. on Tuesday, September 12th, I'd like to call to order the Westborough Economic Development Committee meeting. First on the agenda, we have the minutes for approval from August 1st. Any comments on that? Any questions? Everybody get a chance to look at them?
So, motion to approve the minutes from August 1st, 2023.
A second.
All right, we're going to have to do a roll call because I think that we have at least one member who is hybrid. So Alexander, yes?
Zeph, yes.
Kenny, yes.
Kearney, yes.
Leonardo, yes.
Keo, yes.
Gingras, yes.
Thank you very much. All right, and I apologize. I should have started off by welcoming our new town planner, Jenny Ingres, to our first meeting. Welcome. We're excited to have you here in town and look forward to doing a lot of work with you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
All right, next on the agenda is the EDC grant applications. Fred?
I'm reporting there's 3 applicants here. There's actually a 4th applicant. You have the packages in front of you with the rubrics. I will be presenting for one of the applicants. When we get to that one, which is Kimi I. But we have 3 applicants here. It doesn't really matter what order you want to go in. We'll just, if you want to come up to the podium and give a brief description of your business and what you're seeking.
Who had this line?
I'm sorry?
Which one has this line?
No, it's after. It's a
Yeah.
presentation after.
Yep.
Yeah,
this one.
You'll see the name, when they announce, you'll see the name on their package on the front of the form. It's one thing we got to modify. I hand wrote that and I apologize.
Hey, Mark.
Do you have a presentation?
I sent it in.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, should I have brought it with me?
Yeah, I don't have it. I apologize. But you can just give us a verbal presentation on that.
Okay, yeah.
They have the package in front of the application and stuff, what you're seeking and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm Jason Easty, seeking the $5,000 for a company called HealthSpan Longevity, which we started in Westborough this year. HealthSpan is a blood testing company that measures 40+ biomarkers. And the overall goal is to optimize health. So when we get the test results back, we then come up with a health style plan to optimize their levels.
Great. So if you look at the application, you're seeking, I think it was $50,000.
$5,000.
But you had more than that in startup costs.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's gonna, yeah, a lot more than that. So the main
Yeah.
thing we'd use the money for would be like blood draw chairs, computers.
Okay, where is this going to be located?
11 West Main Street, first floor.
Okay, all right, so total disclosure here, Jason and his wife just recently hired me to lease space for them on the first floor, so just, not that there is any conflict here that I feel, but I think it's best for me to recuse myself for anything voting related on this. I can speak for them, they're great people. They opened up, as you're probably all aware, they bought the building and opened up a beautiful dental office up there that's, yeah, some of you may have seen it featured on Channel 4, as a matter of fact. They did a segment on it, so it's, we welcome them to town and wish them all the best. So,
Thank you.
with that, I will ask if there are any other questions. Anybody?
Are you currently up and running?
Oh, we are not. We're in the process of opening.
Gotcha. What's your target date? Oh, no. Roughly.
Roughly, we're hoping for November.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So the full-time jobs you're going to be creating, what kinds of positions are they going to be?
So that'll be a phlebotomist
Okay.
and receptionist.
Gotcha, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we got 2. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sorry. I mentioned Elite Dental, but this is actually the HealthSpan
Right.
Yeah, HealthSpan
application.
longevity. Yeah.
So, yeah, there'll be 2 here, so I
Well, they're
apologize
both
if I
presenting,
confused
but-
anybody.
Two
Yeah,
different businesses
yep,
in the same building.
yep. Thank you for mentioning that, Mark.
As I heard, I want to make sure we weren't messing with anyone's applications. it's great to have something like that downtown.
Yeah.
I don't have
No.
any question.
Just say thank you for making this significant commitment.
Perfect.
You know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's awesome, thank you.
Morning. I'm Dr. Chelsea Perry. I own Elite Dental Studio, just there on the corner of West Main. I've actually been in town for 10 years and just moved my practice there to this new location. We're really excited to be downtown. So with this new practice and this new growth, what I'm liking to add and seeking $5,000 for a grant to add a microscope. So what we're doing is we're trying to improve our patients' access to knowing more about what's going on in their mouth. And one of those things is, in this microscope, we can actually take a swab of their plaque, put it on a slide, and we can look for certain pathogens that put them at an increased risk of other health problems besides just gum disease. With the increased risk of heart disease, certain dementias, Alzheimer's, and strokes, we really want to help our patients understand what kind of pathogens they have besides just coming in for their regular cleaning. We want to really improve their health.
So does the microscope cost $5,000 or is it
Mhm.
more than that?
Yes. The microscope itself does, and then the auxiliary stuff,
Gotcha.
charts and slides and et cetera.
Yes.
Does not include the cost of training, but we will be training all of our staff, like our hygienists, on how to use it.
Gotcha. So the aggregate, say, cost of, I guess, everything you're going to put into accomplishing this is roughly what?
Probably total investment will probably be closer to 10,000.
10,000.
And so that's so that you don't have to send
So actually, we can show our patients right away.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll be training our staff on how to identify certain pathogens that are closely linked with heart disease and Alzheimer's disease. And then it can be then sent out to labs for more thorough diagnosis to say like what the actual bacterial loads are.
So it actually is going to help to increase the patient experience.
Yeah,
better, to make
yeah.
it-
And our typical patients will see us twice a year and their doctor maybe once a year, if at all. And their general doctor are not testing for these things. They're looking at certain risk factors, but this is a really tangible risk factor that we can say, hey, you have this going on. This warrants a lot of follow-up with your primary care.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Is this a common item that most dentist offices have?
Unfortunately, it's not. We're really trying to increase the oral systemic link, in our patients' forefront of mind. They don't think of us as just, we're here to scrape the plaque off your teeth, but we actually want to help you with your overall health because there really is a lot of links between, gum disease and a lot of other things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to say, are you guys related?
Yeah, we're husband and wife.
Okay. I just
Most days, yeah.
And just to say, as someone that goes to Dr. Perry and my dental stuff, it's a different, I've been to Dr. Frankenstein and I've been to everything in between, and this is a whole different experience just going to the dentist. It's a new age dentistry as far as I would consider it, so it's definitely a different experience. So it's investing in the town, and it's a nice, beautiful location and a beautiful facility right on the corner of downtown there.
All right.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Sidu,
All right.
this is the jujitsu company that's coming.
Okay.
How are we
Good,
doing?
how are you?
How are you?
Good. I do have extra copies of my business plan. Should I hand those out, Fred?
No, I think I.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
them right here. Thank you very
That I
much.
do have.
Oh, you guys all
Yeah, we
it?
have them. Thank you very much.
All right, awesome.
The only thing I will note on his rubrics, you have to add 10 points to the long-term lease. I didn't have that. I've seen a copy of that, so that's all set. So
Okay.
if you could, just
Yeah.
add 10 points
Yep.
to the total score there, please.
Easy peasy.
So, given that you already all have my my business plan in front of you, I guess I'll just briefly walk you through it. So, my name is Placido Santos, or Coach Placido, and we just recently leased out a space in 57 East Main Street Beautiful plaza down there. Jin owns it. I don't know if any of you know Jin. But the plan is to open up a Nogi Jiu-Jitsu school and have it serve the community. The name of the school is Five Stones, and we just want to serve the community through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and help people have better physical fitness, self-confidence, discipline, everything else that goes along with being involved in a martial art. As far as the business description itself goes, obviously you know where we're at, 57 East Main. The facility itself, I don't know if any of you have ever been in the actual unit. It's right on the second floor. I don't know what it used to be honest with you. When I first walked in there, it was actually being used as storage by Jin, by the landlord. So it's about 4,500 square feet, a bit bigger than this place. All right. And as far as instructors go, I'm the sole instructor at the moment. We do hopefully have plans to expand that in the future and have more instructors help cover classes and offer more things to the community. As far as programs go, so initially our plan is to just have an adult program, but there's so much more that jiu-jitsu has to offer than just for adults. As a matter of fact, a lot of jiu-jitsu schools have a lot of kids programs too, so that is something that I have a desire to do, but I need to get the business to a certain point in order to be able to expand it and start offering that to different age groups, specifically kids. And as far as a market analysis right there, demand. So I don't know if you knew this, but the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is actually one of the fastest growing martial arts, if not the fastest growing martial art. And anybody that's kind of pays attention to that, I know like UFC is getting a lot more popular now, but you'll see that the amount of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools that are starting to pop up over the last decade to 20 years is like way more than ever has been before. And so it's something that has a lot of demand in the market. It's a very popular sport. It's a sport that appeals to, as I said before, all age groups. So not only kids and young adults, but also appeals to older people, middle age. I know plenty of guys who do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and gals who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even beyond, and they love it. It gives them a great workout. It gives them great physical, something physically challenging to do. Gives them a sense of community, and a lot of people find a lot of positive things from it. As far as competition goes, I am aware that there are currently, as far as I know, I may be wrong, 2 jiu-jitsu schools in Westborough at the moment. I believe there's Discover Jiu-Jitsu right down here on the roundabout, and then Integrated Martial Arts down in the plot where Target is in that area, down there. And I mean, those are schools that offer traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I do know that there are other martial arts schools sometimes you'll see that offer Jiu-Jitsu, but it's not Jiu-Jitsu in the most traditional sense. Typically, it's more like the Japanese style of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a bit different and not as popular as the more the style that I'm looking to teach at the school. But with that said, you know, the product that we're going to offer is quite a bit different. You know, I was thinking about if I was one of these schools, should I feel threatened by us opening another school in the same town? And to be honest with you, no, for a couple of reasons. And number one, we offer a very different product. Okay, most jiu-jitsu schools you go to, I know I may be speaking like Chinese in some sense because you may not have an idea, but most jiu-jitsu schools you go to offer jiu-jitsu in the kimono. I don't know if you guys know the gi. It's called the gi. You guys see people tie the belt around it. The type of jiu-jitsu we teach is kind of different. It's a different type of jiu-jitsu that's been more popularized as of recently, and by recently I mean the last 5 years. And it's called more no-gi jiu-jitsu, which is, as the name implies, you don't wear a kimono, you don't wear a gi. So right now our school is completely a no-gi school. And I think it's become more popular because of, say, for example, MMA and UFC. Obviously, they don't wear a kimono in that sport. They do the sport without, they do shirtless, but kind of like wrestlers do. But that's the type of style we teach. So just to briefly answer that question, you know, we offer a very different product that I don't necessarily see competing with what they offer. With most schools, and I know for a fact these schools, because I've been to one of them, they offer more gi-oriented jiu-jitsu. So it's kind of different. It's if any of you know about wrestling, there's a couple different styles of wrestling, right? You have freestyle. There's like 3 that I can think of off the top of my head: freestyle, folk style, and Greco. They're very different in style, and sometimes people who practice one practice the other. But for the most part, if you go to a school that mostly focuses on folk style, you won't get a lot of the freestyle guys there, or the Greco, if that makes sense. If that's a good analogy to use. As far as financial plans go, so first goal is to try to reach somewhere between 25 to 30 members, and the idea with this is that we want to be able to cover the rent, right? So if we can reach 25 to 30 members, that will allow us to cover rent and cover expenses for the unit that we're currently renting. Expenses, so obviously as the business grows, expenses also grow. Right now our primary expense is covering rent, okay? So that's...
Can I just interrupt for a second? So
Yeah.
you mentioned covering rent. Is the facility fit out so you can start utilizing it, or are you going to need to build out this space and convert it?
So there is, yeah, so correct, there is a build out process occurring right now. There isn't, thankfully, because of the sport, the nature of the sport, there's not much we need to get started, thankfully. All we pretty much need in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school just to get started is pretty much just mats.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And what do the mats cost?
So thankfully, my business partner, so I'm actually a majority owner in the business, but my business partner, Steven, he actually owns a wrestling school down in Rhode Island. Thankfully, the mats I currently have right now cost nothing to me because he gave me some extra mats that he had.
Okay.
But to answer your question, these are not the mats that I want to have long term. They don't look as good. The aesthetic of it, they don't look as good, and they're not as big to outfit the entire unit, right? So I have 4,500 square feet of space.
Yeah.
The current mat layout is not nearly as much as what it could be, and obviously, if you limit how much mat space you have, you limit how many potential students you can have.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you're not doing any physical build out to the space. You're not taking down walls. You're not.
No. So
Okay.
so just to give you an idea of what the unit is like, if you walk into the unit, it's literally a wide open
Yeah.
space, and that's how we intend to keep it.
Yep.
The only actual physical modifications we plan to make, and this is probably like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years from now, I don't know. But we actually have it on our lease, an agreement for it on our lease is to put in showers.
Okay.
Yeah, put in showers in the unit. The bathrooms are common use right now. But I do suspect that putting in showers will be kind of pricey. So any plumbing work is pricey these days. But so that is something that we have planned to do, is to put in showers, and that's
Okay.
obviously just to help with the hygiene in any type of grappling sport. But the mat is currently, we just have mats. We do want to get new mats. So hopefully we can get new mats within the year. Don't know what the future will bring right now.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So how long is your lease for?
5 years.
Okay, so why don't we have the 10 points?
No, that's
We
what
did.
Fred
Sorry,
said.
Fred.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have to
And then the build out for the showers, wouldn't that be a tangible?
Well, see, that's it. He's not incurring those right away. He's going
Gotcha.
to be doing that. So
Yeah.
my kind of feeling on this is I would rather see us giving him a grant for something towards the build out of the space or equipment or something. The rent assistance, I understand, will help you get started.
Yeah.
But my concern is that I look at here and, you know, one of the answers that you have is that you eventually believe you'll eventually be able to afford paying to complete the build out of the space.
Yep.
My concern would be that you open up, you find out you can't afford to pay the rent, and you close down
Sure.
after we've given you a grant.
Sure.
Personally, I'd like to, my preference would be to see you come in the future, be open for a little while. When you're ready to do the showers and invest in the space,
Sure.
you have some history there.
Sure.
and of your success.
Gotcha.
That would be
Yeah, I've
my
owned a
feeling.
fitness center, and it opened
Yeah.
at a
You own
time.
one?
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, you did?
So,
Okay, cool.
and I opened where Planet Fitness was down the street,
Yep.
and it was, you know, it's definitely a challenge. But getting those members and really doing that ahead of time, you know, my first 3 years were tough.
Gotcha.
But it's one of the things that I noticed here is just, you know, I would definitely, if you're a new business owner, even if you have a business partner that's experienced, is going to someone like SCORE. You can get some free business counseling and just make sure that you're set up for success. It is
Yep.
a tough business, and
Yep.
two other studios in town is not a big deal. It's plenty of business for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's how you separate yourself out and really set you up for success.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I tend to agree with Todd,
Yep.
just having been in the business. It's not that I wouldn't want to, you know, support you, but I think for rent, you've got to be looking at the business a little bit more long-term
Sure, sure.
than that first. than
Sure.
that first.
Yeah. I do agree with you. Having a business partner is an advantage, which is why I took one on. Right?
Yeah.
And given my business partner actually by himself with his brother, I'm not cutting on that on his business down there, but they own 2 wrestling schools at the moment in Rhode Island, and that's exactly why I took him as a business partner, was so he could help me get going pretty
Yeah.
fast. Now, as far as concerns on whether will the business be able to get up and going, had I told you, hey, our rent right now is $8,000 on this unit, and we need 60 members to get this going, it would be more of a concern, right? And even I know it sounds it may sound like kind of outlandish in the sense that if you're not familiar with the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu itself, 60 members is really not a lot for a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, which is why so many people are trying to get into this business, because there is so much demand and sign-up going on. 25 to 30 members is really not that much at all for a Jiu-Jitsu school.
But you are paying a lot in rent for second floor space.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a good deal personally. If on that plaza and that unit, I mean, I'm right next to a bunch of doctors' offices and the Goddard School.
Right.
I think I got a pretty good deal there. Obviously, the rent escalates over time, you know, but I mean, is it a lot of money? Yeah, it is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think we got a good deal, and I think our initial milestone is a very realistic milestone. Just to
I
give you
hope
some.
you succeed. Obviously, we want you to succeed.
Yeah, sure, sure.
I just have some reservations about and concerns about.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
So
I get it.
But I think we do need, in the, you know, aspect of time here, we do need to move on, so.
Okay.
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, you know, for like the program development and the website and marketing, do you intend to take on additional employees?
So eventually, yes. Right now, my business partner is taking on a lot of that. So basically, he brings the business expertise, and I bring the sport expertise.
Okay.
I want to be respectful of your time, but I am actually ranked under one of the top instructors in the nation. If you could also say the world, you can look him up. His name's John Danaher, and I am a student under him. And this is like, it would be equivalent to having somebody open up a golf studio in town under, I don't know, Tiger Woods or something like that. And I'm not making this up. You can look it up yourself. You can look up my name and Google us, and you'll quickly find out. But which goes to further your point, why another reason why I'm so confident that us meeting our initial need of 25 to 30 members. I understand you're worried about it. No worries. I'm not worried about it at all. I think my question isn't can I get to 25, 30 members? My question is, can I get to 250, 300 members?
Yeah. And I hope you do. Trust me, I hope you do.
Sure.
I would
Yeah.
feel
Too.
more comfortable giving you $5,000 towards the showers that you need to install in the future or something like that. You know,
I
when you
gotcha.
come back here and you say, I have those 60 members, I'm good, I've been up and running for a few months now, we're ready for the
Yeah.
next phase of our project here, and we want to do the build out of the bathrooms and
Yeah.
the showers and things like that. I would feel, I don't want to speak for the other members of the committee,
sure.
but personally, that
I see.
I would feel that
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable giving you
Yeah.
the grant money towards that. But
Sure.
we're supposed to discuss this amongst ourselves anyways after you
Sure.
present. So why don't we wrap
Yes.
up your presentation? If there are any other questions?
So,
Okay.
really quick, I have a question. So What belt are you currently?
Purple belt, sir.
Purple belt?
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, but if it makes any difference, I compete against black belts all the time.
Oh, no, it did.
Yeah.
I was just looking for a training aspect of, and then as far as you, it's a sport is really about discipline too. So, will you be going toward the youth as well?
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time. Would I what?
So, I mean, come on.
Did anybody hear the question?
So the sport is about, discipline and self-defense and teaching you discipline. Is that something you're doing in the future?
Is that something I'm gonna be doing in the future? He said.
Yes.
In terms of like teaching discipline.
For the youth.
Oh, for the youth. Yeah. Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, I could go on, and again, I want to be respectful of the time of the board, but the point being, arguably, nothing provides and creates more character for a kid than constantly going into a training room and confidence, character and confidence, than going into a training room and having somebody try to smash you from topside control. The confidence that gives a child when he goes into school in terms of, either being able to stand up to a bully, or even something just as simple as having a conversation, where today's youth, you're on social media all the time and it's not easy to have conversations because you're not used to interacting with people. It's a sport that's 100% interactional. I mean, I could go on and on about that, but yes, to answer your question, yes, it is something that it would provide kids, adults, and older population alike is confidence, discipline. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for your time.
Yeah, best
You
of
guys,
luck.
do I stick around or?
It's up to you.
It's up to you. Feel free to.
Right.
All right. Appreciate it.
So Fred, I think the last one we had is Kimi I. Are you presenting?
Yeah, Kimi, I apologize. There was a little confusion on the meeting date, so she's not able to attend today, but I can certainly present
Okay.
for Kimi I. She's seeking a new piece of equipment. It is a replacement, but I talked to her about this. What it is it's a visual eye. They do a visual eye on this, so it tests for glaucoma. So it's one of the tests. There's several, only because I've taken it, so I know a little bit about the actual test. According to what she's telling me, generally a visual eye takes about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and you actually, I can tell you personally, you can fall asleep during this thing. So this new piece of equipment, she's now telling me it'll expedite it. It's more like a 4 or 5 minute test, and it's multiple languages, so it speaks to you in languages that she didn't have the ability to do before, so there'll also be a benefit from that regard. So that's why she's seeking the money to replace what she has now for that visual field.
And she's investing in it's not $5,000, it's more than that, so.
Yeah, it's much more than the
Yeah.
5,000,
Yeah.
correct,
12,000, yeah.
correct. Yeah, it was over,
Yeah.
all the applicants are seeking, their costs are all exceed the 5,000.
And Fred,
Sure.
her renewal notice here, it looks like it expires June 30th of '24.
Right, so that's why we didn't give her credit on that, I think.
Okay.
She wasn't credited for the
Okay,
long-term
okay.
lease. I mean, I can follow up on that if you'd like, but I didn't get that information from her, whether she does have an additional lease past that.
Well, it might be worth it because it looks like it was a third option. If there is a fourth, she would have exercised it in June of this year, probably.
Right.
And she would get more points for that.
She would get more points
Yeah.
on her rubric. That is true.
Well, she's been around, she's been in town a long time, and she's been serving the community for quite some time, and I do like giving grants for equipment. I think I think that's what we're here for, is to help them elevate the patient-client experience in such a way, so.
And return on investment.
Yeah, 100%.
That's an easy way to put
Yeah.
return on investment. It's dollars. If you can see one more person a day for this exam, or 2 more people a day to get this exam, that's, I'm assuming, more dollars into the business, which is, I guess better than a rental situation where it goes into the,
Yeah.
into the back end.
Well,
So-
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I would just, no, go ahead. You can answer that, and then I'll ask you.
I don't know if I was going to answer anything, I would just make a statement. I mean, if you do the arithmetic, roughly you can spend 15,000, well, you can spend nothing. I mean, it's up to the board.
Right, that's what I was going down, what we have available right now. So it's a new fiscal year, though, right?
So the grant, it'll get kind of goofy. So assuming we get reappropriated every year for the $60,000, the reappropriation will be in March.
Yeah.
So the money's there. If
Yeah.
you still go on the premise that you have $60,000 as a committee to spend, and you spend $15,000 per quarter,
Right.
you know, I would still go on that premise. I mean, again, the board can do whatever you please. You can give $5,000 this quarter and give more a
Right.
different quarter if you like. But if you go on that premise, you divide the 4 quarters up at the 60,000, it gives you roughly 15 a quarter.
No, but it's appropriated at annual town meeting in March for
Right.
this year, right? So we know we've received it for this
That's
year.
correct. The money is good
Through
to
June.
spend. So it doesn't really matter on the cycle at this point, because we'll have the money for that next fiscal year. So the money's there to spend, let me put it that
Yeah.
way.
Right, and this is these will be our first appropriations of this fiscal year.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, you want to talk about so we have 4 applicants in front of us. I think I let it be known that I'm a little uncomfortable with one of them. Now, if we deny him or don't give him a grant for this, he can come back for
Absolutely.
another, for the showers at some point, so.
Well, so he's applying for a new business, so that,
Yeah.
the premise of that wouldn't be applicable for the rent. But as you said, if he comes for fit-up in the future, there's no reason he can't come for
Right.
fit-up money in the future?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to see that particular business, because personally,
Yeah.
it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him up and running for a little bit. You know, rent is rent.
Yeah.
But if he was coming for equipment or things like that to get started, I'm a little uncomfortable with that one right now. But
Yeah.
I think, again, like with the fit out and things like that, and just kind of get him up and
Yeah.
running first.
I think the Elite Dental, the Health Span, and the Keeney Eye all seem like good investments that we can see a return on. I don't like the idea of giving rent money out. I feel like it's when we go back to the town for our money next year, we're gonna have to show that we did
Right.
something with it. And to say we gave $5,000 for a new piece of equipment, that shows there's an investment in the business that's gonna come back. Where rent is now gone, it never actually comes and shows. If the business makes it, I guess that's a positive, but I think rental assistance, if we go down that road, it's a slippery slope to everyone coming in asking for their first 3 months of rent, and that's not what we want. I don't think that's the purpose of this grant, is for that. I think we're trying to do more with it, I think. So I would think, if we have $15,000, I would think fully granting Health Span, Elite Dental, and the Keeney Eye would be the way to go, and then let this gentleman from the jiu-jitsu place come back, like I said,
Yeah.
maybe in 3 months, 6 months, and see where he's at. And maybe if he wants to buy mats or something, that'd be a
Yeah.
much more, better use for the grant money, I think. Just a thought.
Any other thoughts or comments?
I would be comfortable with that. I guess the only question for me is, do folks want to spend the full 15K this quarter, as it's the first quarter? But if I think everybody's comfortable with that, then I'm fine with that appropriation.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, the 2 equipment pieces are, I think, you know, a big value.
Yeah.
The furniture is furniture, but I mean, I really like the Elite and the Kimi grants, so.
Okay.
Yes,
Anyone want to make a motion?
you can do all 3 if you want.
Okay, sure. I'd like to make a motion to grant $5,000 to Health Span, Elite Dental, and Keeney Eye. Appropriate $5,000 to each one of their grants.
I second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call, and as I mentioned, because of my relationship with HealthSpan and Elite Dental, I'm going to recuse myself, so.
Zeph, yes?
Kenny, yes?
Kearney, yes.
Akio, yes.
Leonardo, yes.
Jingers, yes.
Vero, yes.
Scott?
Really, yes.
Great. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Fred, for,
Thanks, Fred.
and I know John probably helped you too. If he did, thank him, and we appreciate you guys working on this. I know you are short-staffed, so thank you very much.
And Todd, I don't know if you care whether or not I think for the third business, if you wanted to be officially on the record as voting for it, it's entirely up to you, because it was a
TBI.
single motion.
Oh, it was a single motion though, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I probably should
Okay,
stay
just
out of
leave
it.
it as is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, next we have a presentation or / discussion. We have a guest speaker, Jeremy Grossman, who's part of Grossman Development Group. They are the new owners of Bay State Commons. I can tell you firsthand, I've been working on that project for years, but I've been working with Jeremy and his team and his family for the last number of months, and they have been a fantastic addition to the community. They have literally done everything they said they were going to do, from improvements to the plaza to getting involved in the community. So thank you, and we welcome you. And this is Jeremy
Congrats to your
Grossman.
dad. He looks like he's having a great time.
He is.
Yeah,
Anybody
yeah.
that's following him on social media,
He's
they should
all
all be
over it.
jealous right now. Like Joe in Paris.
Tiger's coming.
Not to be confused by Barcelona last week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can move your slide, just the arrows, they will move your slides for you.
Yeah,
There you go.
perfect. Thrilled to be here. Even more happy to be a part of the Westborough community. We have been watching this property for years, as Todd mentioned. As many of you probably know, we developed Lakeway Commons in Shrewsbury years ago, and we're based in Framingham, so this is our true backyard. My father grew up in Southborough, and remember when this property was built, and just kind of watched its evolution over the years, and always believed when we built our company that we were going to have something to do with it. We just felt, honestly speaking, that it was neglected over the years and deserved to be a more integral part of the community. So that is our goal. For those that don't know us, I'll just give a brief introduction. We're Framingham based, as I mentioned, so right down the road. Vertically integrated development company, which means we own and operate all of our centers. We lease and manage, although when you have experts like Todd in the neighborhood, we tend to rely on the experts to assist. And because we're active throughout New England, we tend to work with brokerage companies throughout different geographies. But based here in the area, our business plan as a small company is focused really on 3 prongs: the acquisition of grocery anchored shopping centers, and typically lean towards those that need improvements. Those that are stable don't require our expertise. We look for opportunities to develop mixed-use development, which is sort of the Lakeway Commons and Shrewsbury model, with a strong retail component, but also integrating either residential or office. And we believe that's a formula that really works today in commercial real estate. And then we've also maintained an arm of our company called fee-based partnerships, which means we don't own, but we support strategically other owners who may require our expertise, but do not require our ownership. Most important to us when we enter any community, and I hope in Westborough you're starting to see that, is we're an extremely hands-on, visible owner. We get to know the town, we get to know all of the philanthropy opportunities within the town, and not just charitable donation, but charitable time. And everybody in our company is challenged and tasked with getting involved. And it's a very important part of the company that my father set years ago and that I've carried through now running the company. And as I mentioned, our geography is New England. We like to be hands-on, touch and feel all of our properties, but we do follow our anchor tenants, and you'll see in a minute what that means in other areas around the country where they may want to take us with them. So very quickly, this is our group. We're family-run. 3 of our 8 are with the last name Grossman. But what's important to note is the rest of them, all but one, I've worked with for over 15 plus years, in some cases more than 20. We're a very senior-led group, and we have a lot of fun doing what we do. We've worked together a long time, and our 8-person team doesn't want to be 18 or 80. We like the size of our company. We like being small but do large things, and we like to be very focused on what we do, and with a small company we can do that. I'm going to quickly, because I know we're potentially running a little late on time, so I'll quickly run through some sample properties of ours just to give you a feel for what we do. So I think everybody's familiar with Lakeway Commons. This was the former SPAG site. This was not just a SPAG site. It was 7 other parcels that we assembled to then master plan and develop with a residential partner. We tend not to build residential. And this has been a great success. Whole Foods has been a great partner of ours over the years. This model was really our first entrance into, call it mixed-use development with, again, that integration of retail, residential, and other. And what we've done is we've taken that model in a very unique and odd fashion down in Newington, Connecticut, with almost the exact same size parcel under the exact same size configuration, and we've kind of replicated the business plan. In this case, 270 residential units. Shrewsbury was similar national grocer. We haven't announced it yet, but it's somebody that everybody knows and loves. And then a similar mix of local and national tenants, heavily focused on restaurants, with Shake Shack and Kava and several others. And just a quick shot, what's noteworthy here is if you remember the layout of Shrewsbury with, Whole Foods kind of sitting up on the street and then a circular retail mix with residential behind it. It's exactly what you're looking at here in Newington. We literally overlaid that plan, and this is a current look at the construction. We followed Whole Foods, or vice versa, to the state of Montana. Whole Foods had an interest in entering that state. They have 0 stores until most recently, so we bought into the only mall in Bozeman, Montana, led by Whole Foods, and we're in the process of doing a 400,000 square foot redevelopment of this mall. Whole Foods opened about 5 months ago, sitting out front here, out on the street. Again, similar to what we just talked about, and then we have been redeveloping the mall for new out parcel buildings with great national retail and restaurants, and an inside-out redevelopment of the mall. So something unique. I can't say that we were focused on the state of Montana, but followed the anchor in that case. And then similar project in Waterville. But Westborough, obviously why I'm here today, we have different aspirations for this center, and I'll just start there. The first, and what we've immediately embarked on, is investing in the experience, both aesthetically and then ultimately programming. We believe it's not just about the brick and mortar, but it's really about the programming and activation of the center. To date, and we've owned it now just about a year, we've spent significant capital on kind of everything you can visibly see. And so just kind of talk off this aerial, we immediately went in and power washed and painted the entire center. We upgraded the lighting to all new LED lights. One of my pet peeves was that little pebble bed that was sprinkled throughout the sidewalks, and then the pebbles get thrown everywhere. So we replaced all the beds with more substantial rocks so that when people were walking through it, inevitably they do, it's not going to be a maintenance nightmare, and I thought the larger rocks looked good. We've started replacing all the sidewalks. We started that immediately, and just recently replaced the sidewalks in front of Roach Brothers, and about to begin another sidewalk project, I believe our last, so that we kind of solve our sidewalk issues, which has been a historic issue. We have been upgrading the landscaping. We replaced about 30 trees that were decayed with brand new trees. As I hope everybody has seen, really elevated the level of landscaping. I wish we had a little bit more green space to work with in the sea of cement out front, but we do our best to really improve the landscape aesthetic, and very happy with our property management to date, and more to come as we kind of understand the center and understand the needs and work with the town on other opportunities to improve the look and feel. From a programming standpoint, we've begun talking internally about a Halloween event that we'd love to at some point announce and maybe leverage other activities in town, and really believe this green space in the back that I know the town has activated for years could be more with our partnership and participation, and try to bring this center into the downtown experience more than it is. We really believe that this can be an anchor downtown if we do our job. Very excited to announce, and I'm not sure if many people even realize, we have an 11,000 square foot space that's never been tenanted, that sits above the dentist and the music and arts store. And most recently, I signed a lease with a nonprofit organization called Post 22. Post 22 is a nonprofit that operated a camp in town here, and they provide employment training and life skills training for adults with disabilities, which is a cause near and dear to my and my family's heart, and a wonderful person behind it who will bring much-needed training to people that deserve an opportunity, just like we all have, to go to work every day. And we're thrilled to have them in the center. More to come there. We're just, getting started with plans and soon permitting, and hopefully they'll be open later this year. And again, thrilled to have Post 22 as part of the Bay State Commons experience. And, our goal is to continue to work with our current tenants. We think we have some very healthy tenants that need a little bit more landlord support. We will work with all of them and continue to improve the shopper experience here as well. And that's what we do.
Awesome.
That's what we
Great.
do.
Any plans to
Yeah.
add more restaurants?
Kind
Kind of sorely lacking?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of space today to do that. I strongly believe restaurants have become the new anchor for kind of the shopping experience. And, there's factors you have to pay attention to, competition, parking, and other things. But we do have one restaurant that is working through the permitting process here in town. I believe they've been announced.
Yes. Yeah, everybody
Way
here's
Back
familiar.
Burgers.
Yeah.
That will open over by Panera Bread. And, like the burger craze that's been going on for the last decade, that will drive a lot of traffic and certainly make a lot of kids happy. That will be the next restaurant in our project.
And then the Spirit Store, they come in seasonally. Is that?
That's right.
Is that space are you looking to lease that space out long-term?
We are, yep. That's clearly the giant hole in the center, and we have been kind of evaluating uses, and that's certainly a part of our strategy, absolutely.
So I will say, if I can, from town's perspective, it's been a pleasure to work with Howard and Jeremy and the Grossman family. It's a much-needed lift for that Bay State. As you all know, you residents of the town, you know it better than I do, but that mall has needed some love and care, and so far I'd say that's been very happy to work with them to bring that about.
And I'm the president of the Rotary Club, and I know we've had conversations with you about extending and kind of how we can work together on the winter holidays.
Absolutely.
And things like that, so.
It's an important part of this shopping center need. And, to me, low-hanging fruit, that just should happen immediately. So happy to work with you.
Yeah. Two comments. I have a gift shop on the edge of the plaza on Union Street. And I've watched this happen and watched you do this work, and it's been incredible. I'm really happy to see that. Also, I'm the chair of the Cultural Council, and we should definitely chat more because, Arts in Common coming up, but I know you've spoken with some of our members, but when the public art policy gets approved, that'll be another way. We'd love to figure out a way to work with you and help you do some of that.
And that's terrific. There are areas, and one of the areas is sort of the walkway in between the Saatchi restaurant and the Little Gym that kind of leads over to the park area. That, to me, could be a wonderful space for art and activation. And I think years ago it was used for certain town meetings and some other things that I think has stopped for whatever reason, but it's certainly an open space that could be better improved for that use.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk.
Great.
Sure. Hello, Sean Keogh. I'm the Select Board representative to this committee. I would just like to say thank you and your family for your commitment to the town. I think the local not-for-profit events I've been to, like Westborough Connects, I regularly see you guys listed at the top of the supporters of those events. So just tremendous, the way you've just adopted the town. Thank you. And just want to say really looking forward to working with you. Tremendous opportunities ahead.
Thank you very much. No, appreciate it. We're thrilled to be here and to work with all of you. Thank you.
Great. All right, well, thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Welcome to Westborough.
Yeah. Yep. All right, next on the agenda is the update on economic development position. Fred?
Well, so we have made a hire, and I'll have that individual speak to it if he'd like.
We have a new...
Yeah, hi, everyone. So excited to take over for Zach. I think, we had a lot of good momentum, I think, going over the last year or two, whatever it was, Zach, 3 years, I guess Zach was here, I don't know how long it was. So I'm hoping I can just, pick up where he left off and take us to the next, whatever's next, and, go as best we can. So I'm very excited to be in the spot. So unfortunately resigning from this seat, so someone's going to have to take over as the vice chair, because I'm going to move over to the other, so maybe not move, but, technically, but I'll be moving out of this chair into a different spot. So looking forward to meeting with everyone. As I get settled, I'll hopefully get one-on-ones with everyone so we can figure out what you guys want to see from me and what you're not doing or are doing, and I'm excited to kind of get a fresh look at things and go from there.
What's your vision, Mark? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Really good.
I
Little
mean,
birdie
vision,
told me like 2
I
weeks
guess, like
ago.
I said, my biggest thing right now is with Zach being gone for 3 months, I just want to kind of pick up the pieces and see where he left it, and then see where we can kind of keep what we're doing going. And then I think parking downtown is a big piece, and marking where the public parking is a little bit is something simply we can do that is a really achievable goal, that putting some signs up on the 2 or 3 municipal lots in town so people know where they are, because I find a lot of business owners park around the businesses downtown, so if they parked,
Yeah.
in those lots, maybe that would open up some street parking for people and that idea. So I think little things like that, I think we can kind of have an effect on, so.
Nice, awesome.
Continuing the
Congratulations.
business outreach and.
Yeah, business
and start
outreach.
Today with Jeremy.
Yes. Yeah, I'll be saying hi before we go today, Jeremy.
So Mark officially starts this coming
Next Monday.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
So the 18th,
That's
yes.
awesome.
So he will be resigning from the board. We will
Yeah.
have an open position that will have to be posted. And then, yes, we will have to, at our next meeting, probably, we could vote for
Right.
a replacement for the vice chair.
Okay.
And then also thinking of any suggestions for business owners that might want to, anyone knows someone that might be a good fit to take another, because we'll have an open spot as well on the committee.
And you're pretty involved with the chamber, so you're pretty connected to Karen, right?
Yes.
So really
Yeah, she's
can-
already talked,
business-
we've already talked a couple times, I
Awesome.
think, so, yeah.
That's
I
great.
think most people
And
talk to everyone.
I just want to take a moment to again thank Fred, because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he's picked up a
The
lot
3
of
months
stuff with Zach's departure. He's taken on a lot over the last few months, and it seems like he hasn't missed a beat, so we appreciate
I
it,
don't know
Fred.
about that, but.
Fred, you're awesome.
No, thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
I would just say, Mark, thank you very much. I think the one thing that has been missing in the prior occupants of the job has been somebody who's been a Westborough resident and is committed to the town. And, I think we'll all say we'll all miss Zach, but, he did a terrific job. But I think having somebody in the town devoted to the town and who's been a former business owner in the town, I think is makes your application unique. And,
Yeah. Oh, great, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I hope I bring something new to the game here, see what I can do, so.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Hey, and if we want you to do anything different, we'll let you know.
That's what I
Yeah,
figured.
yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
figured.
We're not a quiet group here, Mark.
No.
Todd, can we talk about co-chair? Can I nominate? Or do you want to do that next meeting?
Well, he hasn't officially resigned yet, so, I mean,
Because I voted on stuff
Yeah.
today,
What's
so
that?
I want to
We can
resign.
defer.
yeah, I think our
Okay.
next
Okay.
month's
Next
meeting would be
Sounds good.
appropriate. He'll be
Might have to put
sending
on the
his
agenda.
resignation later this week. and-
Great.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, we all look forward to working
Yeah,
with
thank
you.
you.
I know you're going to do a great job, so.
Thank you very much.
Next on the agenda is a planning department report with our new planner, Jenny Gingras.
So I don't have too much to update on. The planning board will be looking at a site plan review on September 19th for 161 Milk Street, which will be MA Restoration that is planning to open up a storage facility and then move their business offices over there. If you're not familiar with the site, it's where the old roller rink was,
Oh, yeah.
which has been vacant for many years. So they will be moving into that building and restoring it, and then putting a new building for their offices adjacent to it.
It's nice to see something finally done with that property. It's
Is that right at the corner of Route 9 there?
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah.
That kinda tucked off?
Two lots.
right.
Behind the bakery there? Yes.
Mark Johnson's the owner of MA Restorations. They're presently located at the corner of Flanders and Otis Street. Well, not quite at the corner, but near that area. So they predominantly do restorations like fire and water restorations. But anyway, he's moving his business there, and then, as Jenny said, they're going to rehab the roller rink. But there's a second lot that's actually fronts Route 9. It's had the Fafford sign for
Right.
about 20 years up there. So he's purchased both, but he does have a business partner he hasn't brought forward yet publicly. But he does have, they do have some plans that hopefully in the near future we'll be able to announce if it goes forward.
That's great.
Great. All right.
Right, and then part of that will also include an easement for the B-wall, so we are moving along on that as well.
Excellent.
Fred and I are doing the Civic Leadership Academy on Wednesday, the next week, the 20th, and so we will be giving a tour of the Amazon facility. And so that's exciting. Looking forward to that. And one of the other things I'm working on is a master plan update. So at town meeting in October, I will be giving a presentation to essentially show what's been completed on the master plan, what has been in progress. So I've sent emails out to chairs of all the boards and committees, and including economic development, just to get an update on where things are at, and if they haven't moved at all, just trying to figure out what the barriers are so that I can help either find what we're missing or figure out a better way to implement that goal. So, if you have any questions, let me know.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Anything?
Welcome to Westborough.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Well, I have a quick question, and I don't know if anyone can answer this, but I thought I read somewhere that we had ARPA funds allocated for a like a sprinkler park. Did I see that
The
somewhere?
rec department was,
I think
So the splash pad
Yeah,
was,
splash pad.
was a consideration downtown, and then I think the estimates were low and required additional funding, so they switched to an opportunity for a dog park because they were able to get grant funding for the dog park. There's sort of a fund that's kind of going away, and it was a sort of an now or never. So the dog park is moving forward, and that is over near the state hospital.
Okay. That's too bad about the splash pad, because I think our kids don't have much of a playground or.
I think we did get
activity.
positive feedback on the splash pad. I think there was some logistical concerns. It was just going to take more time, and so we could, potentially see that come before town meeting.
Okay.
all right. If nothing further, then next on the agenda is the Community Development Department report. Fred?
Yeah, so mine's pretty quick. Unfortunately, the economy's kind of gone sideways, so we've actually slowed down significantly in the department. Still residential stuff coming in, but businesses have kind of, I don't want to say come to a screeching halt, but the economy's kind of hurt where we are right now. Personally, I think the presidential election will make a difference. We always see a bump, but so we don't have a lot of big projects coming forward. They're all kind of in the pipeline, but there's really nothing to report. They're all kind of on hold right now. Cold Harbor has opened, as you're probably aware, so that was good to see him open there. Actually, the couple open. So that has gone forward, and some smaller stuff, but that's about it. It's been very quiet, unfortunately.
What about the other Amazon site 2 doors down from
Yeah.
Cold Harbor? Oh, well, next to Cold Harbor.
Well, it's
as as
actually
2
next
doors
to
down.
Cold
Yeah.
Harbor. That site is not dead. The shell has been completed, so they haven't really taken occupancy because there's nothing to occupy. It's just basically a shell. There's rumors on the street that we'll see the fit up, but as to date, they haven't actually applied for a fit up permit yet. My understanding, they will go forward with that, but we just haven't seen it yet, so there's really nothing to report on because I haven't seen it yet. 50 Otis Street is going strong still. That's the one we hope to tour. That facility is kind of phenomenal for the town, so that's a good business there. It actually is the one next door. It's not next, there's 2 facilities out there, but
The other one, I think, is the construction's still in progress on the
yeah,
other one, right?
the distribution center
Yeah.
is going forward. They're in the midst of the fit up now. I believe they project to be open hopefully before Christmas time, but
Okay.
I haven't gotten a definitive on that.
So sorry. So there's
Sure.
the original building, then there's the one, the third one, the latest one they started, and then the one, so is the one in the middle of the distribution center?
No, I'm sorry, it's the one, 54 is the,
Cold Harbor, the distribution center.
right.
That's
Support.
So the
So
one in the
next
middle,
door
the
is
one in the
additional.
middle is, the shell is completed, but there's nothing in the fit up.
Okay.
64 is the one closest to Cold Harbor. My apologies for the confusion on that. That is the distribution center. That's the same-day distribution center. That's the one that the fit-up is well on its way.
Okay.
So that they hope to open, which is good because some of their other distribution centers haven't opened. There's one at the mall in Worcester the old Greendale Mall, that shell has been sitting there for some time, and they haven't started to fit up there. So at least that building is moving forward. The other one that's closest to 50, the one that's in between, there is, my understanding, the intent is still to go forward with that. We just haven't seen the plans yet. One thing you will find about Amazon is that they're not, it's a big company, and sometimes the wheels turn a little slow, so, you know, but my understanding, that project should be going forward, just a matter of timing.
Are they doing anything with the building that they bought at 4400 Computer Drive?
That's a great question. I haven't heard from them in some time, so I don't know. Again, it's only rumors, so I don't like to start that conversation. So I haven't heard from Amazon on that project for some time.
And how about the BJ's facility? Is that's on hold as well, or?
Yeah, that's another one that it has gone through planning board for site plan, so they have the permitting in place. I haven't seen a building permit yet. As far as I know, they're still projecting to go forward with that, but I don't really have any updates on it. I don't have any firm dates that they're going to start demolition or. So again, I don't like to speculate. I mean, they're not out of the picture. Samuel still owns the property. As far as I know, they intend to go forward, but I can't give you any definitive answers on that, so I'd rather not speculate on their start dates.
Fred, are we losing businesses due to the economy?
I don't know that we're losing them. You kind of tell even by the grants, it's not, well, of course, it doesn't help that Zach hasn't been in the position, but I don't see a lot of new activity either. I mean, it seems to be stagnant more than anything, and you as business owners probably see that a little bit too. I don't see anybody, slamming our doors down to run into the town right at the moment, but I think that's generally the case. Generally, I can see that, and I've seen, as many of you know, that if you've been in business for a while, you go through the cyclical time of business. I don't want to say we're to 2008 standards yet, but we've seen a definite slowdown in the last few months.
Mark, where are you guys at with your build-out for UMass?
I
That's a big tenant. That's 55,000 square feet.
Yeah, I stopped by the building at 50 Washington Street, and that's the building right at the intersection of Route 9 and 495. And I saw the moving trucks bringing things in, and we were so lucky to land them. I can give you some feedback as far as office market goes. It is terrible out there. I mean, one example I brought up before, where we had Bank of New York Mellon. We were very lucky to land them at 118 Flanders Road, but they went from 4,400 Computer Drive, 305,000 feet, to just over 70,000 feet. And the tenant that they moved in, Verizon, was 40,000 feet in that building. They just left. And then United Site Services, the handy house people, they went from around 70,000 feet, I think, down to around 18, because a lot of these, back office type jobs are being done from home. When our neighbor called for a porta potty, and he said, "Hey, you guys are right next door," and she said, "I'm in." The person who was out, I'm in Idaho, so, when you think about it, drop off a porta potty, pick it up or clean it up, that doesn't have to be done in a cubicle in Westborough anymore. That can be done from, home, as long as you don't have kids and dogs barking in the background, right?
Or even if you do.
Even if you do, yeah.
Fred, I have a quick question. How is the civic engagement,
For the civic.
yeah, the training or like the government informational sessions that you guys are doing? I don't know what it's called. How is that going?
Civic leadership,
Yes, thank
it's
you.
just starting. I don't know if we've actually had
Thursday?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Is it this Thursday?
Yeah, it could be this week, I think, is our
That's
first
great.
meeting, so I don't know. I can tell you next meeting
I'm just
how
curious.
our tour went. We plan on a bus tour with the major event being 50 Otis Street, so
That's
hopefully
great.
that'll come together pretty well. But I know it's, I will say that I happen to have the opportunity to run it in another town as a department head at that town. So it's usually pretty engaging for people that are in the community but don't really understand or haven't had any inclination of how town government works. So that's usually the intent of this, is that each department will try to explain to some degree what they do.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot of people have no idea what land management does over next door, and don't probably know that planning and building exist, and EDC and all those type of neat things.
Oh, that's great. One of my students, who's a high school student, is signed up for it, and I thought that was great to see some younger folks getting involved and showing
Yeah.
interest, so.
That's
we'll
great.
See how it's going.
Yeah, they got a full, I think, it's full.
Yes, I believe there's 15, they were taking up to 14 or 15 applicants, so.
Yeah, cool.
And when is the next meeting for the Civic Golf Club, the restaurant or the building at the golf course?
That I don't know, I don't.
So they are presenting their decision to the select board on the 26th.
Okay.
So I don't know if they have another meeting in between now and then, but that's when they are making their presentation, their recommendation.
Got it.
Okay. All right, great. Any other business? Oh, go ahead.
Just have one quick comment. I think it'd be of interest to folks, I'm sure should be of interest to folks on this committee. At tonight's meeting, shortly after the meeting begins, our first thing we'll be discussing is a potential new community center in town, an opportunity that has come up. And I'm not going to front run the discussion or anything. I'm just sort of mentioning it here because I think it will be of great interest to this committee and what it could potentially mean to the town. So meeting starts at 6, so at about 6:02 we'll be talking about it.
And it is broadcast on Westborough TV if you can't be there. So. All right, thank you, Sean. Any other business? All right, if not, I'll take a motion to close.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, Alexander, yes?
Zeph, yes?
Kenny, yes?
Kearney, yes?
Leonardo, yes?
Keo, yes?
Jingles, yes.
Varro, yes?
Rayleigh, yes.
All right.
There we go.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
I think
you.
our next meeting is October 3rd, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
First Tuesday, yeah.
All right, great. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.